All right, howdy teachers and tigers. Want to talk to us about the Family Night Celebration of Learning. I basically introduced it a little bit in August. I went in a little bit more depth in the November Thursday late arrival, but here we're going to jump into the details. So of course it's on February 22nd, 2018. The times when the students will be here to perform and demonstrate their learning will be 6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. This is where we're making the shift. The last couple family nights have been just games and activities that were facilitated by the adults, the teachers, right? By teams of teachers. But this is the shift we're going to make. That students are demonstrating, they're performing, they're showing their learning to an audience. And that audience is going to be basically AMS parents and their families. So all ages are welcome to attend. So let me talk about some examples. So RELA. So out of that hour and a half, about 30 to 45 minutes would be kids actually reading poetry. You know, 5 or 6 or 8 kids reading poetry. If you want coffee, we can make a little coffee atmosphere. If you have a nonfiction short story, kids are reading excerpts of their story and talking about what they learned in their process. Science could be like take your favorite lab, or we had some PBLs in 7th grade science. The kids are sharing their products from those PBLs, or maybe take a lab. I'm just going to use an example like a frog dissection. The kids are actually doing the frog dissection on tables for families and their families like little kids to watch. So the kids are pointing out what they learned and what they saw while doing the frog dissection. Moving into a little bit harder things like math and social studies. So for example, the gallery walk has been done in the past in world cultures. The shift would be that the kids are actually acting as tour guides, guiding parents and families through gallery walks, pictures of the Holocaust, whatever, sharing what they learned, the thoughts and feelings of the people going on at that time. Math, if there are any projects, the kids would demonstrate their learning in those projects. But let's say maybe there actually was a game or activity that really shared or talked about the concept of mathematics during that. The kids would lead that game or activity with the parents, sharing what they learned in that activity. So if you notice, we're shifting from just parents playing, teachers facilitated, to the kids are actually doing the leading it, and they're kind of sharing what they learned in the process. Some examples in electives, of course, band, orchestra, choir, theater performances. Those are easy, either in large groups or smaller ensembles. Let's take Kate. They're always creating things and making things. Maybe they have like tour times where parents come in, they see how the making of a pin. The kids are actually demonstrating on how they do that, how they use the tools. Maybe the CO2 cars, they're demonstrating the aerodynamics and how they shaped and what they learned and what they would do differently next time. So they have CO2 races. In Spanish, if there's dialogue or conversations the kids do in class, well, maybe the kids would lead those conversations in the classroom with parents coming in and saying there would be sentence starters, and the kids would correct and reteach parents as they're learning Spanish. So the kids are leading and performing what they've learned in Spanish this year. Take art, they could have art displayed, and parents could ask questions about what they learned in that. Now if you notice, you're not going to have all the kids performing all the time. You may have to, you're probably just going to choose 5, 6, 8, 10 kids performing, but you may still have products on display for all the other kids. So if there's poetry being read, out of RELA 6, you may have 15 kids perform in a 45-minute time period, but you may have the other poems out there for other parents to view in the other 45 minutes when there's not performances. So just some dates, information. This is all going to be an email as well, but by February 2nd, you're going to have to let us know what your activity is going to be, and then what time frame you're going to want to do that in, like 6:15 to 6:45 or 7 to 7:30, because we're going to want to spread these times out. By February 8th, you're going to want to know who are those kids that you want to have performing or demonstrating their learning, and you will have already communicated to parents, inviting those parents and kids to come and do that lab, do that math activity, do that gallery walk for parents. So you're going to have to have already known the kids, you're going to have do that and invite them by February 8th. February 13th is when our second round of information comes out. That's basically, and you'll see this in the Google Sheet that I send out. So make sure right now you're thinking about the performances you're going to be doing with your team. You're going to want to be recruiting students at this time. And your role on that night for that 30, 45 minutes is to basically be in that performance, just greeting as the kids are leading it. For maybe 15 minutes, just being there for parents to come by, say hi. But then I'd like y'all to have time, at least 30 minutes, to walk around and see what else is being done in the building. So once again, all this information is going to be in an email. Please ask questions so that I can answer those questions for the whole staff. I'm really looking forward to kids leading this activity and demonstrating and celebrating the great things they're doing in your class. Thanks.